Hello everyone. This is a presentation on how to unlock the value of your eBusiness Suite data for free, running in days, which is a short presentation of how to get Enterprise Command Center, what is an Enterprise Command Center for eBusiness Suite, and how to get them working. My name is Gustavo Gonzalez. I'm a Chief Technology Officer at IT Convergence. I've been working for the company since 2006. We are a professional services organization with companies with 12 global offices around the world. I'm based out of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and we offer cloud services, implementation, technology, advisory, development, testing, a series of services that we are using it internally as well. So what you're going to see in this presentation is a series of exercises and taking our own medicine on the implementation of Enterprise Command Center internally at ITC. But let me get started with an overview of what Enterprise Command Center is. And one of the major challenges and changes that is happening in the ERP world today, it's the combination and how to get information from multiple sources and multiple reporting tools to discover the data and to act on the ERP that we have. Um, uh, um, so today, we are living in a world that it's more looking towards search, and probably the reason of that is Google. So we want to translate that consumer experience into an ERP. So this is one of the areas that the Oracle eBusiness Suite team has some efforts and investment on, and this is coming from the idea and the main area of Endeca Information Discovery. That was a product that was launched a few years back from the Business Suite team, and this is kind of an evolution of that, which will allow us to work within eBusiness Suite, so inside eBusiness Suite, looking for information insights, trying to answer questions, having a lot of very beautiful visualizations, and of course for the IT team, it's a drag and drop design, no ETL tools, easy customization, and what is important, it's free. So this is a free product that it's available for eBusiness Suite users at this point. What are the main drivers and the main objectives of Enterprise Command Center? It's data exploration, advanced visualization, the ability to go through a guided discovery, and of course having insights. One important aspect here, which is a question that I get most of the time, is, well, can I replace my OBIEE? Can I replace my reporting solution with Enterprise Command Center? The answer is not. So this is not a reporting solution. This is not a reporting replacement or dashboard replacement. It's a way that you can explore the data, that you can see information insights within eBusiness Suite, but also going straight to the transactions, taking action on the information that you see. And we're going to see that in the next few slides. Let me start with a definition of how the product component works, and we see on the right, we see Business Suite, and one important aspect of Enterprise Command Centers is that these products are only running on release 12.2.4 and above of eBusiness Suite, and it requires having an extra server. Okay, and this extra server is here in the center, which is a Linux 7. It's a Linux box which will have these three components: a WebLogic server, an ECC admin domain, and an ECC managed server. So these are the technical components. Now, in terms of specs, so how big is this server? There are some metrics provided by Oracle that are based on two key parameters. One is the records and the other is the users. So you can see here the specs that are recommended for each of these two variables and the options. But as you can see, it's not something that very big requirement. In terms of drilling down to details, we see that the ECC core will have all the query engines that will have all the metadata and how the information is going to be pulled. The service interface, which has all the client interface for data retrieval and analysis, and then the client user interface, which are all the visual components, and that is what is going to compose the enterprise command center. Okay, now going further down, we see here on this map that on one side at the bottom you see the business user. So the business user is going to enter with the same credentials to eBusiness Suite, and with that, those same credentials, it's going to go and see the enterprise command center data. Now, when we talk about enterprise command center, it is the general term. Now we're going to see that there are specific command centers for each of the modules. So we have the payables command center, the inventory command center. So we're going to have multiple command centers. At this point, at the time that I'm recording this video, there are about 20 command centers. But we talk about the enterprise command center in general. So then we're going to see that inside the business suite, the user will log in into the business suite and will see the visualizations and the enterprise command center, and that information is going to be retrieved from the enterprise command center server, okay, which is that you see on the right of the screen. Those are page, based on the filter or the search that you do, are going to be pulled, going to ECC and retrieving the data, and that data is going to be read from the data set, which is a new concept on enterprise command centers that I'm going to drill down in a few slides. Now, those data sets are going to be pulling data. Okay, enterprise command center will initiate the data load, and the data will be pulled from EBS and ingested into ECC. Okay, the data, there's two concurrent requests that will be running. One is a full and another is an incremental enterprise concurrent request to get the data into enterprise command center. You can schedule those to run just a concurrent request. Okay, so you're going to be able to schedule that as you are comfortable with the data, with the refresh, etc. Okay, now when I said about the data sets, and I'm gonna take you a little bit into the admin side of things on the enterprise command centers. So what you see on the top is the home page, and each of the command centers have a home page, and I'm drilling down into the inventory management command centers, and you can see that there are 3 pages which are going to look like tabs. Okay, the aging, the cycle, the shipping. Okay, these are going to be the pages, and then if you click on the pencil icon, you're going to see page attributes, and this is new from version 3 of enterprise command centers. Now, if we continue in the admin component, we're going to see, and you see on the top, the data sets, which are all the SQLs or all the different SQLs that will be getting data. Okay, so these data sets are gonna, and in the second screenshot here, it's the metadata, and you're gonna see columns. Okay, these are the attributes and the columns that you can get from that are composing these data sets, and then you also have some metadata, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's in a SQL or it's in a column. You can create calculated columns, such as, and in the example there is the buckets column. So you can have buckets that are being calculated based on the attributes for that specific data set. Okay, and I will go in a minute on a demo on this. I'll guide you through the instance. Now, what are the components and the visual components that our users will see? We'll see that there's a discovery section, there's a visualization, there's an insight, and there's a layout. Okay. Now let's start with discovery. So we see that there's a drag and drop design, of course, and discovery will take you into a search box that we see on the top, some filters, selected filters, which are the refinements, and how that's the term in ECC. And then there's the guided discovery. As you can see, that every time that you pull in a specific column, you're gonna see that all the list of values are showing there. Okay, and if it's a date, there's a date picker to from and to, and if it's amount, you're gonna see a from and to. So you can, this is a very useful guided discovery, and it's, again, it's a consumer experience, how you can drive through that. Okay. in, ter- in terms of visualization, we have a summarization tab bar, which typically and out of the box, it's at the top at the top of the screen. Then we have a tag cloud. As you can see, the fonts are different based on the quantity and the count of a particular word and a particular field and attribute that we are selecting. And then we have all the charts. Something very important here is that everything is clickable. So when you click on any of these, it will be a refinement. Okay, so you will going to be refining and filtering the data based on what you see there. Okay, and of course there's going to be some conditions. Okay, so like assign assets, or currency. If you have a total amount in the summarization bar, then you're gonna set a condition to say, okay, show me if the code is just one. You're not going to be summarizing US dollars with Brazil reais. You're going to be summarizing everything into a single currency. Okay, so those are conditions, and those are things that you can customize or you can tailor if you are creating a new component on Enterprise Command Center. Then we're going to the insight, and this is where things get confused, because if you see these, you say, oh, now I can replace my reporting solution. But this is actually a results table based on what you have been filtering around the Enterprise Command Center. There's an option to compare, and also within this insight, you're going to be able to click there and drill down to the specific area in eBusiness Suite and within the screen that it's managing that. So for example, if I click here on the asset number that is there, it's going to pop up eBusiness Suite and it's going to open up the form. It doesn't matter if it's an HTML, even though this solution is an HTML solution. If you click there, it's going to pop up forms and it's going to open up the assets form. Okay, and the same will work for all the different Enterprise Command Centers. Okay, and I'll show you a little bit in the Payables Command Center now. Now, everything here it's SQL structure. So all the information, how you are being pulled, all the information is being pulled, and how you can manage and configure each of the charts or each of the components of Enterprise Command Center. It's a familiar SQL structure. Okay, there are common components, and you can see some terminology coming from the analytics space, which is dimension, aggregations, conditional display, and of course sort options. Okay, so this is all gonna be available there, and you can see that's the configuration of a chart. Okay, there's also a preview component that will help you to do a see how that looks, and before publishing and before saving this. Okay, in terms of loading data, there's no ETL, it's just PL SQL. Just to give you an example, I was able to customize in the payables. There's no attributes for the description of the payable invoice, so I was able to quickly change the PL/SQL, which is in one of these packages, and then I was able to add that field, that column from the payables invoices table views, sorry, and then from that view I was able to insert that, and then pull that and add to that to the data set. Okay, you don't need any extra knowledge in order to tailor and customize Enterprise Command Center. Now, talking about customizing, fairly easy steps on how to customize. Get the base page that you want to create a copy of the page. There's an icon for that, and then define the function of the copy page, grant that function again at the user management level, and then you can personalize the page, the OA page and the interface. Then you point that to the new page, and then there's also another very cool feature, which is for the transport, which you can export and import. Okay, so you can move into different environments, from dev to test to QA. You can export and start moving that, and will automatically move all the components that you define. Starting on V3, we have a multi-language support, which is very important. You have some multiple languages on the same instance. And when talking about security, which is quite important here, is that all the security is going to be based on the attributes and based on the definitions and the setups that you have on e-business suite. Okay, there's going to be an application level, a role assignment to a responsibility, and a page level, which you're going to be assigning, and a record level. Okay, so all these three components are going to be pulled on the ECC pages from the existing setups of the user. Okay, and this is something that when a user logs in and you assign the specific Enterprise Command Center to a specific responsibility, you are going to be able to drill down and see the data just like you set up that for the user, whether it's you have assigned to a user a specific organization or inventory organization or operating or org ID, then the user will be pulling the data based on their setups. Okay, so that's very important because you don't need to do any extra setup on security. Okay, now having said that, we have done work for some customers, and we experience like, oh, I want to create a custom responsibility for this so I can assign to users. Well, you need to take into consideration that when you create a custom responsibility, you need to give access to those forms that you're going to be drilling down. Okay, so if I'm payables, I create a responsibility as payables, and I just give the access to a function that is Enterprise Command Center, and I'm not giving function to a transaction form, then I'm not going to be able to drill down to that screen. So it needs a little bit of tuning how you're going to deploy that if you want to create a custom responsibility specific to Enterprise Command Centers. Okay. Now, in terms of patching, as I mentioned, it's 12.2.4 and above. So here we see the ATG patches that are available. There's some prerequisites, and there is an ECC framework and adapter that needs to be installed. And then for each of these families, like supply chain, financials, procurement, CRM projects, and HCM, some of these are fairly new for version 3, but you're going to see that these are the patches that you can download from Oracle in order to get Enterprise running in your environment. Now in V3 there is a very nice Enterprise Command Center Support Analyzer that will get you with what are the troubleshooting and the files collected and the strip. This is a very good analyzer of what's your current status. Okay. Now I'm gonna jump into the specifically the the version, and I'm gonna stop here and show you on one of our instances. As you can see, this is the instance. It's a 12.2.9. It's the latest release from Oracle. You can see that there's some icons. This is a simplified user interface. For those who are running versions prior to 12.2, like 12.1, you need to be aware of the end of Premiere support by 2021 on 12.1, and considering that 12.2 has a 10-year window of support. So this is probably one of the options and opportunities for you to plan your upgrade and get the benefits of enterprise command centers. So I have a couple of favorites here. So there's going to be, I'm going to show you here a responsibility, a new responsibility, which is the Enterprise Command Center. So I'm going to just, searching here, and I'm going to go to the Enterprise Command Center developer responsibility. And within this, I'm going to be able to see a first screen that I will walk you through some of the pages and the concepts that I share with you. So here we have the different pages that we have, and here you can see, for example, I'm going to check on payables. Okay, I just click on payables, and we see the different pages that are available for that, and then on this I'm going to be able to copy the page, edit the page or delete the page. So in this case I created a new ITC supplier balances page based out of copying it. Okay, and I can add new pages. Okay, now in terms of of metadata, I'm going to jump into data designer and metadata. So we're going to see all the data sets available. So these are all the standard data sets available, and just to give you a sense of how they look like, I'm going to say installments for payables. So I'm going to be getting all the columns, and what you see here, all the different columns that are being pulled from Enterprise Command Center. Okay, and these are these attributes, and we see a lot, and here you're gonna see some details for that particular attribute. If it's searchable, if it's refinable, if it's translatable, what is the definer behavior, the refinement order, if you want them to be able to show in the guided discovery, if you want to have the count record for that, if it's going to be collapsed, and then if there's a snippet size or so. Then we're going to have some attributes groups, and so we can be able to group them, record identifier if that is also available for each of them. I'm going to show you a little bit about buckets, so we can see the whole buckets and the whole aging. Okay, and we can see that we are setting here a label, a specific label, and a specific start and end date based on that. Okay, and these are some of the aspects of metadata. Okay, now here we have what's the source system, and then the export import that is available here, that it actually creates a zip file that you can use then later on in the export to the import. Okay, I'm going to go back home. I will show you specific payables. Okay, so what you see here, it's a favorite of the payables command center, which is inside, as you can see there, it's inside a Vision Operations USA responsibility. So I'm going to click there, and you can see here the first screen is the page supplier balance. And it's what it's doing here is I'm with the user and the same credentials of eBusiness Suite, and this is going to ECC and pulling the data out of that. Okay, and we see I added this component, which is a new on V3, which is a search. Okay, the universal search, which allows you to say set a scope. Okay, so I can say, okay, I'm going to search something for a specific scope. okay, which is a supplier type, for example, and this is a short sample of how the capabilities of changing it. We see here the summarization, and you see here that we have one ledger, what's a functional currency, and then the balance. This is another one tag word that I added because I wanted to see specific payment terms. Okay, and we'll show you later how to navigate through that. And here you see, a detailed insight. Okay, so one of the things that I mentioned to you is that I can go and say, okay, I'm gonna check which payment terms are immediate, and when I click on immediate, it actually immediately created a refinement for that. Okay, I can go and check, okay, I'm gonna see the supplier name. Okay, and you can see here it's pulling out all the supplier names that are available, 23 out of 23. I can search within them, or I can say, okay, I'm going to select this. Okay, I'm going to say select it. As you can see here, we have another refinement, which is advanced network devices. Okay, and here if I scroll down, okay, and we're going to tell me how many payment terms, the invoice count, how many due invoice I have, and here I'm going to be able to click on the invoice number. I'm going to click on the invoice number, and it will automatically open, and you can see here it's going to be opening out forms, and it's going to be opening automatically the forms, and it will pop up that specific invoice available. Okay, and here is eBusiness Suite searching, and we'll open up that invoice. Okay, so as you can see, here is the invoice. Okay, now as you can see, you know I can search and I can filter the information, and based on how I filter the information, I can be able to drill down to eBusiness Suite and specific. Now, everything is it's automatically and it's everything is refreshing based out of the information that I have available on ECC. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to click here to show you, the configuration for this particular. See, this is a TAG Cloud configuration. What is the data set, okay, that I'm selecting? And here are the different conditions, okay? And say, okay, the record type is Y, the dimensions that are going to be selecting, the condition for the display. It say, okay, it's show me this when ledger is equal 1. So I'm choosing information from one ledger. I can have multi-organization access control, so I can see data from multiple operating units if needed. Okay, but this is how you can tailor this. Now if you want to add more components and say, okay, how can I do that, you need to scroll further down, okay, below the insights, and you're going to see this blue icon, open components. So when you open components, you're going to see here that you can add components, and in order to add components, you just go scroll this and select where you want that component to be added. Okay, once you added that component, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go here, and it's a chart configuration. So I'm going to enter information here, and then I'm going to select which one is the one that I want to show, and if I want to get a record identifier. Okay, so I'm going to be able to create a chart automatically here based on the information that I want. Fairly simple. And if I scroll down, you're going to see the save or the preview. I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go back to the presentation. So here you can see it's another version, is 12.2.4 here, and you can see the different configurations, how that looks like, how you can configure it, and then some available material that we have from ITC on how to get ECC to work, and an ebook that we have created on this. Just a few things about considerations. These are the enterprise command centers available for you. As I mentioned, it's about 20 or something. So these are available and they are for free. And a couple things in terms of wrapping up the presentation. It's for 12.2.4 and above. There's no licensing requirement with minimal user impact because it's just adding a screen to a specific responsibility. It has all the integrated functionality, including the security, so you don't need to work extra on security. All the new releases like V3 here are delivered as a content as a patch. There are new visualization components in V3, and we have seen an investment from Oracle adding visualizations there, multi-language support as I already mentioned, and again very easy tailoring because you can change that without any expert technology or something specific to this, and an easy transport, the import and export. It's very useful. And one more thing is the micro website that Oracle has put for ECC, and it's available. The URL is available there, and that's something that very useful for you. I highly recommend that to check there in terms of getting the information. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope this was useful, and look forward having your feedback on this. Thank you very much.